I developed my first AI product in 1994. So I've been around for quite a while. I've been an AI programmer since 1985, so quite a while now. About a year ago, I thought, okay, AI this, AI that, great branding, all this sort of stuff. Thought, oh, fine, I'm going to spend the weekend and I'm going to go deep on AI and bring myself up to speed on where it's at right now. You've got to look at things differently because your clients are never going to know the right questions to ask.
Welcome to the Dev Ready podcast. Joining me on the Dev Ready podcast today, I have Craig Keegan. Craig, thank you for taking time out of your day to join me on this.
It is an absolute pleasure, Anthony. I have looked at your setup and what you do, and I am privileged to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for those kind words. For those of you that don't know how we run the podcast or that are new to this episode, I've never actually met Craig before. We tried to schedule this last week, but we had some technical issues and couldn't get it going, as much as I know about him. So Craig, I'll let you take it away and introduce yourself and let everyone know who you are and what you do.
Oh, excellent. Well, I have been around for a very long time. I developed my first AI product in 1994. So I've been around for quite a while. I've been an AI programmer since 1985, so quite a while now. I was a bit of a techo, project manager, business analyst. Then I moved into mergers and acquisitions and been doing that for the last 25 odd years as well. So that's been pretty exciting. Done a couple of, what is that, 10-figure deals. So that's a few numbers here and there. And that's all been great fun. But we are in a brave new world today. And with AI, with the way the world is going all private equity, everything's changing today. And there are some amazing opportunities out there for everyone. So 15 months ago, I decided to, under advice from my coach, to go out and start doing this for myself rather than going under the KPMG PwC banner. And yeah, here we are today. And I have been, the last 12 months, I've been working on dental roll-ups. Mm-hmm. And 2026 seems to have hit me pretty hard. And I just keep on falling over accounting businesses and accounting enterprises that are looking to do a big exit in the next few years as well. So there we go. That's okay. Really taken my attention.
Quite a bit there. So you're, I'm guessing, consulting or working at KPMG and PwC as an M&A expert.
I have consulted with them in the past. Yep. Yes, when they get themselves into a bit of bother, my phone tends to ring. Yep. Okay. So there was one that I described, and it was Bega Cheese, actually. It was a Bega Cheese Lion beverage carve-out. Yep. And I was doing got the phone call, and they went through the description. And I said at the end of it, I said, let me just summarize this for you. I said, what you're telling me is you've got a steam train going down a hill with no brakes and a brick wall at the other end. That's what you're telling me.
It's a great time to get thrown into a problem when there's a big problem and it's hard to solve.
Oh, it was, but we had 6 weeks to do that one. There was a $2 million a month penalty if we didn't get it over the line. That's a lot of bickies. It really is. Yes.
Well, maybe we'll start with AI just a little bit, because you said from 1985 is when you started. So that's really very, very, it would have been low-level programming at that point. I'm not even sure what language you would have been using if you're doing it in 1985. Lisp, which I've heard of but never used.
Lexical analysis protocol.
Okay. So that would have been very early on machine learning.
It was.
Or it wouldn't be neural networks at that point.
Oh, no.
Or would it? No, it's too late.
That was only on, what was it, Buck Rogers in the 25th century, I think, at that stage.
Yeah, okay. So you then, what put you into the M&A space after being in that sort of environment? Because where AI is now compared to where it was back then is completely different.
You would be absolutely surprised on that. I'll discuss that one first and come back to the M&A. But about a year ago, I thought, okay, AI this, AI that, great branding, all this sort of stuff. Thought, oh, fine. I'm going to spend the weekend and I'm going to go deep on AI and bring myself up to speed on where it's at right now. And I did that. And what really surprised me is some of the names have changed on the different modules and the different architectures.
Yep.
It's still basically the same. The big difference is the huge data lake that we've got access to now. That's the difference. So I talk about this one from 1994, and there was something back then called Windows NT.
I remember that.
And I was sending out computers all around the world at that stage and running a service desk all around the world for Windows NT boxes. And these little mice things, they'd break down, the keyboards would break down, the hard disks were pretty fragile, but everything was recorded in the Windows event logs. And if you knew how to read those event logs, you could say, okay, I want to keep this, I don't want to keep this. So what I did was I wrote a system to work on each individual machine, to what I wanted to know about, what I didn't want to know about, and what I had no idea even existed. And then within that, what thresholds I would accept and what thresholds I wouldn't accept. So this would run every single day on these machines, go through, then it would upload the data to a server, and then the server would run an analysis on that, and it would spit out 20 to 30 lines of alerts for me to have a look at each day.
Okay.
So I had the agents in place, I had the LLMs in place. This is what we're calling them now, not what we called them back then, of course. And then I had the guide rails in place, and that was me, which was left with the
reviewing
20
and
lines. And from those 20 lines, I'd then go back and I'd say, okay, I'm able to accept this. I didn't know about this, but now I accept it. Do I accept it globally, or do I only accept it for this region of the world or this PC? So I was able to give it guidance and teach it the same as what we do now.
Yep.
So it hasn't changed that much, really.
No, I think it's more the capacity to actually process the amount of data that we have has allowed us to
That's
get to where we
exactly
are.
it.
So we can run a
Yes.
lot more calculations per second, and the size of the internal network, effectively the neural network that runs, is now at billions or trillions of calculations, where you would have been limited to millions. Would have been probably pushing it back then.
I didn't even have the bandwidth to transfer the
I can
text
imagine that would have
files
been
up.
14 kilobit modems.
Well, some of these were in West Africa and the like as well. So yes, it was. That's the big difference: is the technology and the enormous amount of data that we've now got access to and able to process. So that's why I say it hasn't changed greatly. What has changed is those two components, really. So mergers and acquisitions, well, back to that topic. I guess that went like any well-planned career, didn't it? Well, a hurdle came in place, an obstacle that I had to go around. I was recruited on, oh, we have this problem. Can you come and help us out? And as it turned out to be, it was a merger and acquisition, and then got involved at the tech side of things, then moved up to the operations, then the project directing side of things thereafter. But yes, I've worked on health, hospitals, multinational manufacturing companies. And then as a crucial part of that, you have to understand culture as well.
Yep.
So there are some countries out there that don't have a word for no.
Okay, didn't know that.
And what do you do there? Because they just won't say no to you. You have to understand when you're putting them in a position that they want to say no, but they can't. It just doesn't exist. And then give them another way round. So a majority of it comes down to communications and understanding and being able to talk with people. And back on the AI side of things, I see a lot of people these days saying they're AI engineers or AI consultants. And I've got a very quick test for those now.
Yep.
So you're a BA? And they get this blank look. Oh, you're a PM. Still a blank look. Oh, you must be an SA. If they don't know what a BA, a PM, and an SA is, then show them the door. Because they're not going to be able to come into your business and solve your problems. And why I bring that topic up is because you can't go to a business and say, hey, what's your biggest problem? What's the problem? What's the thing that's holding you back? And with mergers and acquisitions, you need to know those so that you can solve those problems to escalate and scale up.
Yep.
If they knew the answer to that question, what's their biggest problem? They'd fix it themselves. It'd already be fixed.
They wouldn't be
They
looking for a
don't
merger.
know the
They'd be
answer to their question.
Yeah, they'd be scaling or trying to grow on their own at that point, I imagine.
That's right. So don't ask them what their biggest problem is, because they'll give you a response, but it won't mean anything. You have to go in there and ask more appropriate questions. And there was an aged care facility here in Australia that I went into, and I was standing in the CIO's office, and Citrix went down. Citrix is a virtual PC or virtual application program for those that don't know. And Citrix went down in this large organisation of 84 aged care facilities around the country. And I said to him, so how often does this happen? He said, it's happened a lot the last 6 months. I said, why don't you get me a report on the outages over the last 6 months? I want to know the duration. I want to know how many staff were involved, both end users as well as technical staff. And I want to know some roundabout pay rates. And I quickly worked out the next day that their outages had caused them $276,000. Cost them $276,000 in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Why had they not fixed this? Because it was going to cost them 3 days of a Citrix engineer to come in at $3,000 a day to fix this. And they couldn't sell the concept of a $3,000 a day consultant.
Yep. Because they didn't have the numbers, didn't understand how to present it and what the case was.
$9,000 or $276,000. They chose wrong.
Well, they ignored it effectively.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you need to ask the right questions and look at things more appropriately. And another example of that exact topic was I was asked to go and do a contract negotiation for printers at a hospital group. And the first thing I did was ask, can you get me a list of the top 10 printers, ones that do the most printing in the organisation, please? Let's have a look at those. Given that there were 834 printers, by the way. So there were a few. And in the top 10, 3 of the top 10 were all in the kitchen.
Okay.
Well, what's going on here? So I go for a tour down in the kitchen, find out that they print A4 sheets as a draft for each person for each meal. And then they print the final one to put on the tray to go out to the client, the patient in the wards. Okay. So they're printing 6 pages a day per patient every single day, 7 days a week.
Wow.
Okay, you might think that's bad. Well, we can fix that. Then I look over at this glass room and I see these people and they've got this great machine and they're putting trays in and the trays go round in a circle. And then I'm not totally silly. I could see it was a glass room. I could see what was happening there.
Yep.
And I said, so what's happening over there? They said, oh, they're washing the trays from the kitchen, from the patients.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the key was these pieces of paper, because remember I was brought in for the printing. These pieces of paper, they were putting them in the garbage rather than moving 20 centimetres to the left and putting them in the recycling. That worked out to be 15 garbage trucks a year that we were paying for to come and collect, rather than 15 garbage trucks per year of being paid to take away.
Yep. Oh, well.
Huge revenue source there.
Yep.
And that's what the mergers and acquisitions side of things is. You've got to look at things differently, because your clients are never going to know the right questions to ask.
It's a similar thing. Look, as you mentioned, the BAs, PMs, SAs, when you're going in to identify what a client needs to get built, we're just having discussions with them and drawing on threads that they mention, because, like you said, people don't know what the core problems are. A lot of it is, I'm solving a symptom because that's the painful bit. That's the thing I can see.
Yes.
It's not what's the core problem that's causing those symptoms to occur. So you got to understand what the real pains are. And then you have to talk to enough people in the organization that are dealing with those problems day to day to understand how you're actually serving them, not several layers higher in management where they're a bit taken away from the day to day, the actual implementation.
I've got a gift for you and your guests, Anthony.
Yep.
It is a very simple one, and it is a form that I get all my clients to fill out. And every single person in the organisation needs to fill this out.
Mhm.
It has 3 sections. First section is, what are the top 3 things that you do every single day? And how long does it take you? 2 things.
Yep.
And you fill that out. Do that top 3 things for every week, top 3 things for every month. Now, as a manager, I might think that my staff top 3 things are this. Unless you ask the question, you're not going to know. And unless they actually sit down. And then what you do with those forms, by the way, is consolidate them all, see what the real truth is.
Mm-hmm.
But then you can do what I did with that Citrix one. Remember I asked about the wages,
Yep.
roundabout wages? Let's go back and review these forms for the chef down on the hospital floor in the kitchen.
Yep.
We know his wage, don't we? Roundabout. So we could put, he's spending 1 hour a day doing this task at this cost. We can then calculate that out, and we can find out what needs to be reviewed that's going to give us the biggest buck in return.
Mm-hmm.
It is such a simple thing to do, to fill out that form. And then, provided you follow it up with those calculations at the end, you know where you're wasting your money. And from an AI perspective, how can you implement AI in any fashion whatsoever if you don't know the return on investment? And that's what those numbers are giving you. Solve the problem that is going to give you the best return on investment. And with AI, you don't have to implement it all at once. It's not a big bang thing. And once you've implemented it, schedule it in your diary to go back and look at it again in 6 months, 12 months. Because new technology, new strategies are going to come out, and what you've put in today will need to be removed at some stage.
Yep. And things improve, and it may just get better or a better way to do it. So as part of your M&A process, are you looking at doing this before those conversations happen, so then a business is positioned in a better stance with their bottom line? Or is this during the process, as this is what's going to happen when the new organization occurs, or the role in, I'm guessing, is moving into that organization completely?
Given that I've been around so long and seen so many different organisations, I pretty much know what the problems are to begin with. Obviously, this printer problem that I spoke about and this Citrix one that I spoke about as well, Obviously, I didn't know about those.
Yeah, they're
But
very
there's a whole
specific.
swag of things that you know when you walk into the organisation that you're going to encounter.
Hmm.
That you can prepare for. That you but you can't prepare for the odd things, the eccentricities. So yes, you can come in and in part of your preparation, it might be these forms, it might be a process that you can plan out. It might be something that as part of the M&A, and we should talk about the difference between an M&A and a roll-up at some
Yeah, that'd
stage
be
too,
good
by
to
the way.
clear up because I'm not sure I understand it correctly as a
Right?
roll up based on how you would probably term it being in the industry.
Oh, now you're getting me excited. Uh, but from an M&A perspective, it's generally big brother taking over little brother.
Hmm.
I've never seen a big brother, never seen a big brother ever ready to take over a little brother because they don't have the systems and processes that you're talking about there all ready to go.
Yep.
So you should be getting them right before you go out and you do your acquisitions. And that way, when the acquisitions come on board, it's just a matter of plug and play. If you know this from the AI side of things, if you try and scale up a bad process with AI, it only makes things a lot faster and a lot worse.
Yes.
You've got to have it right before you put AI involved. Otherwise, it'll do something really fast, really badly,
Hmm.
because
Yep.
that's the way you built it.
You can just keep iterating on the wrong thing faster.
That's exactly right. But yes, with an M&A, you need to actually get those systems and processes ready before you start to go out and acquire. And don't let the C-suite get shiny object syndrome. Oh, we should go out and buy something because that makes me feel important. Well, no, you should go out and within your own organization and get it working terrific so that you're then in a position to go out and acquire. And because 87% of M&As fail to achieve the results that they envisaged.
Well,
That's just because of poor management.
yep. And that's the
Because
organization not prepared.
that's right. The C-suite are totally focused on getting the signature on the document. It's then the implementation team that have got to come in and bring everything that they dreamt of to life. But if the money isn't there, the commitment isn't there, the structure and the systems are not there, I have seen an entire service desk shut down for 2 days just to implement time checking machines because they weren't ready and they didn't know how to build these time checking machines. Oh, let's put something new in while we do the M&A. Well, yeah,
That's the
down
great
goes a
time to do it.
service desk for 10,000 people for
Oh,
2
wow.
days. You've got to get yourself organised beforehand. So what's the difference between an M&A and a roll-up? Well, I've been doing M&As for 25 years. It's only the last 15 months that I've been focused on roll-ups.
Hmm.
Now, from an M&A perspective, they used to get me in because Big Brother was taking over Little Brother. We have a template here and we want Little Brother to fit into that template. So not only have I got to go and move Little Brother across into the template, but I've also got to get my hammer and chisel out and chip off all the rough edges to make it fit nice and easily. And that sounds a bit brutal. Well, it is. It is a brutal process.
Hmm.
But I also mentioned that 87% of them fail to achieve the goals. Why? Well, it's not just because they're not ready. It's not just because of the lack of systems and processes. It's because of that brutality as well. And that affects humans. It affects people. My son, as an example, 28 years of age,
Hmm.
and his company has had an M&A taken over, and he's been retrenched twice at the age of 28, just due to circumstances. That isn't the way it should be. That is an M&A done poorly. So Roll-ups. What is the difference between a roll-up? Well, a roll-up is where you take, and I've been doing dental and now working on accounting as well.
Mm-hmm.
You're in Melbourne, so am I. Now, in Melbourne, as part of my due diligence, which doesn't change with M&As or roll-ups, I found out that there are 1,276 independently owned dental practices here in Melbourne.
Yep.
That's a lot. Now, dentists are really good at putting things in people's mouths. What they're not trained in and they're not good at is business. They're not good with their back end. They're not good with their marketing. All of the back end stuff. That isn't their thing. That isn't what they do. So how can we grow the value of a dental practice? Because if you go out to sell a dental practice, as an example, or any business, keep in mind that 70% of businesses in Australia never sell.
Oh, well.
They shut
High
down.
number.
They shut down because they're not prepared to sell. They're not designed to sell.
Yeah.
So 70% never sell. That's horrendous. So all these dreams, all this blood, sweat and tears that these people have put into their businesses, shot to hell. So back to the dental practice. How can we increase the value of them? Because a dental practice might be worth $1 million if you go and sell it. If I put 5 dental practices together, well, it'd be worth 5 million, wouldn't it? No. It'd be worth 20 million. What? That doesn't make any sense. How is that possible? Well, 5 dental practices put together, that's pretty rare to have 5. Pretty common to have 1.
Mm-hmm.
And to onboard 5 as a unit is a lot easier than onboarding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I've got just so many moving parts. But if I take a group of 5 and onboard it, it's a lot simpler, a lot easier. Therefore, it's a lot more valuable because it's rarer. If I put together 15, is that worth 15 million? No, well, we know that 5 was worth 20 million. You're not going to trick me. So obviously, if I've got 15, that'd be worth 60 million, wouldn't it? No. That's closer to 85 million. What? But you just told me that 5 was 20 million and you went through the same logic. It's rarer. They're more consolidated. They're more operating as a unit. They're far more valuable and easier to deal with. Okay. So if I put 30 together, what's that worth?
It'd be a lot more.
It's not worth 30 million, is it?
No.
You're looking at about 136 million. That's interesting, isn't it? So that's what a roll-up is. It's about putting businesses together to make them more valuable as a unit.
Yep.
And that value runs down to each of the individual practices. Now, I'm talking dental here. I may as well be talking accounting. You want me to talk physio?
Okay.
Let's talk about heart rhythm.
Do they need to be operating as franchisees or as one unit at that level, or are they 5 independent businesses that are going together as a deal?
Great question. So many different answers. But a great question nonetheless. Let's take away the word franchise, please. Let's just get rid of that one. Do they need to be operating as, let's replace that with a word unit. Do they as a cohesive unit? That's probably a better way to go. Now, what I do, because roll-ups are, you try and make everybody's dreams come true with roll-ups. You really do. I'll come back to that. But the essence of it is, if I do cooperative roll-ups. Now, I have searched the world and I have met hundreds and hundreds of industry professionals, and nobody has Nobody does cooperative roll-ups, just me.
Okay.
Absolutely, which is why I get calls from around the world. Oh, can we use your system, please? What that means is we work as a team. Each of the businesses is owned individually, but I did mention that dentists, and I may as well say accountants as well, as insulted as they may be by that, that they're not very good at business. The best way to help them out, because with everything that you do, you've got to solve a problem. If you're not solving a problem, why are people going to talk to you? Why are they going to go into business with you? So solving the problem of their back end was my lever, really. Setting up a shared business group that takes care of their, basically in every business there's 14 pillars. You've got your accounting, your payroll, your HR, your property, your operations, your marketing, all of these different branches within a business. So what I've done is I've carved out those back-end pillars and put it into a shared business group that focuses entirely on providing them all their back-end services so that they can grow the numbers at the back end, and the dentists / accountants, shouldn't get those two confused in the wrong jobs, by the way, that could get ugly.
No.
They grow it at the front end and do what they're trained for, and that way they're able to do more business and they're able to get a better life. So if you solve that problem and you put the group together with a single focus of an exit, a big exit, I forgot to tell you something about roll-ups, didn't I? Let's go. Let's finish this process because you're about to get really excited.
Okay.
Okay. So a roll-up happens over a 4-year period, and you generally sell it off to a private equity company. So we'll take the whole package and we'll sell that off to a private equity company because it's valuable as a unit. Now, the private equity company, what happens with them? You have to understand how they work. They get money in, and they get promises of money in by wealthy investors or wealthy organisations, promises of money in, but they have to return the money back within 5 years, along with the bucket load of dividend as well.
Mm-hmm.
So what they go looking for is larger bodies, such as my roll-up, so that they can get them on board, grow the value, and then offload them to another private equity further up the pyramid, so that they can get their money back, give it back to their investors with a wheelbarrow. So that's what it's about. So at the end of this 4-year period, when I do my roll-ups, the private equity company is going to say, hey, I don't trust you totally, and I don't want to give you all the money. Oh, we want you to have skin in the game. We want you to keep 30% of the skin in the game. And that way I know the business is going to be working well. You're going to work harder because you've still got 30% in the game. So we'll pay you out 70%, keep 30%. Okay. But you've got to stick around, work hard, grow the business again, because in 4 years' time, we're going to sell it again. So you've taken 70% out. Now let's go through this maths for a second. The dental practice was worth 1 million. Then we rolled it up to 30, and it was 136 million divided by 30 works out to be, it's worth just over 4 million now, isn't it? But they're only going to give us 70%. So now I'm not going to get the 1 million. I'm not going to get the 40 million. I'm only going to get 33 million. So instead of a $1 million practice, I've now pocketed 3 million in my back pocket. But I've still got 1 million invested. They're going to grow the business again. So 4 years' time, that 1 million is probably going to be worth another 4 million.
Ideally, that's the case.
So then you've got the choice. Do you cash out? So I stuck 3 million in my back pocket. Now I get the choice to stick another 4 million in my back pocket. But what was my practice actually worth? 1 million.
Wow.
And I've stuck 7 million in my back pocket over an 8-year period. Why wouldn't you do a roll-up? Hey, you tell me. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, it makes sense at those numbers.
You can't grow your business faster than that.
Mm-hmm.
Your traditional businesses, let's talk accountants, dentists, mechanics, mechanical businesses. You can't grow your business at basically 100% per year value any other way than through a roll-up. You can't do it with an M&A either, by the way.
Because M&A is just being absorbed by another company, or they just keep you by that business and keep it running as it is.
Yeah.
It depends on what their strategy is. Yeah, and then just cut to reduce costs.
I said I'd come back and tell you the dream maker side of things and how you try and make everybody's dreams come true.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one, we've outsourced the back end. So does that mean that we've gone and sacked everybody in the business? No. We might have got rid of the accountant that they were paying anyway, but he wasn't inside the business.
Mm-hmm.
Life's tough with that. And we may have got rid of the lawyer that they were paying on a contract basis. Well, they can look after themselves as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the internal staff, some of those staff might have been there for 10, 15 years, as an example. And they've been at that same location doing that same job. Some of them might be bored, might want an extra challenge. Not all of them. Some of them are going to be quite happy that way.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're bored and want an extra challenge, well, how about you become the group practice manager for the local area of 5 to 7 practices? You can go around once every couple of weeks and spend a day at each practice. There's an opportunity that they never would have had before.
Yep.
You've got the dental practitioner sticking things in people's mouths. He might be bored with that. Well, why don't you become an area manager and go around and make sure that the whole businesses are growing, giving them the opportunity? There might be a receptionist that has to drop a child off at school or pick a child up after school. Give them the time to do so. This is what I mean by you become the dream maker. You get to focus on how to grow the business. Because if they're unhappy, they're not going to grow the business. You want them happy and you want them enthusiastic. Wow, we have covered a lot.
So, what are some key things if you're towards that point, or like it's not? This isn't something necessarily you think about when you start a business, but you do need a plan for an exit at some point. But if you are towards that, or you're looking at doing something,
At every point, you need an exit plan at every point.
correct? I said that wrong. What are some of the things you can do to try and make that roll up look perform better? And like, what do you need to prepare? We mentioned it's all about preparation and having systems in place. But what are some of the key things that you see that every business, from experience, it needs to improve the same things?
We'll just stick with the systems and processes, but let's go with a test on whether you've done it right or not. Can you, as the founder, go on a holiday for 5 weeks and the business grow while you're away?
Yeah.
Or when you come back, is it a basket case that you have to spend the next 8 months working on so that you can go away for another holiday, but you're too afraid to go away for another holiday now?
That's a good baseline test there.
So that's the test. When you can do that, you know that you're right to go. What do you do in the meantime? Go back to those forms that I said, because the answers on those forms of what are you spending a day doing every day, what are you doing every week, what are you doing every month, the answers to those forms are going to change. If 3-6 months down the track, each of those answers will change. Go back and do those forms again, and then focus on what's going to give you the greatest benefit, and keep going through that process. Be better. Make sure that your business is profitable. And I was helping my godson move house, and we're driving along, and I said, so what business, if you were to buy a business, what business would you buy? And long story, but I said, keep in mind that businesses generally fail to achieve the 5-year mark. 90% of businesses fail to achieve getting to 5 years. I said, so first criteria is find a business that's 5 years old. He said, but what if it's a bad business? What if it's got a bad reputation? I said, it's still 5 years old. It's made it that far. It's got to be doing something right. If it's 5 years, it's done something right. You can go in there and you can make some tweaks, test and measure, but that's the fundamental. If you can get to 5 years, you've done something right. But keep filling those forms out, keep fixing up your business, and know that it's all about people. Your business, I don't care what business you're in, it's all about the people. So talk with your staff, talk with your clients, talk with your suppliers. Don't screw your suppliers to a wall and cut their throat, because if they go out of business, it's going to hurt you. They need profits as well. Everybody needs to win.
Yeah, and that's how you keep everyone going and prospering. And then with your team, it's a lot of iterative, fix a process, what's the next process, or how do we improve the previous one that we just fixed to make it better again? Incremental changes do add up over time.
And who do you employ? Employ the person that will be perfect for the role in 5 years' time. Not today.
Because they won't be able to grow with it.
Yeah, you want their mind being out there so that they can drag you forward and make sure they're smarter than you too. You don't want to be the smartest person around. You want all the people working for you to be smart. You want to be the entrepreneur, because often the smart people aren't the entrepreneurs. They like what they do. They like to stay within their guardrails. They're not the ones out there taking the risks. And they don't want to be. So don't put them in that position, but employ the people that will take you to where you want to be in 5 years.
Yeah, it's a very good advice there. And there's been a lot of information on what the process is and what it looks like and some of the challenges you've had to go through. For anyone listening, just because we're conscious of the time as well, if anyone wants to reach out, Craig, and find out more about what you do, or if they've got a dental or accounting practice, if anyone's listening and they're interested in a roll up and participating, how can they reach out?
LinkedIn is the best way. Find me on LinkedIn, Craig Keegan, and I'm pretty easy to find. Book an appointment. Let's have a chat. I tell people, simply put, you spend 30 minutes with me, I will either make you 5 figures or I'll save you 5 figures in 30 minutes. Worth the phone call.
It sure is.
Well, if I can walk through a kitchen and say, yeah, that's what I do. I don't see things normally, and I will be able to listen to a conversation, 2-minute conversation, be able to diagnose where the issues are. That's what I do.
Craig, it's been a pleasure speaking to you today and learning more about what you do, and especially the roll-ups. Thank you for your time today on the podcast. I really appreciate it. I'm sure we could have gone longer.
Yeah, I can always talk more. It's been an absolute pleasure, Anthony. And I want to hear about this 300 podcast. So much respect for you.
Thank you.
Getting there.
Wow. You may even be the 300th recording. I'm not too sure, but yeah, we're there or nearabouts at the moment.
Had I known that, I would have bought a party hat.
I should probably do that for mine.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you.